O sasabihin nyo, apostol ang nagsulat, hindi katoliko. Teka, sinong nagsabi sa inyo, hindi katoliko ang mga apostol?
Ikalawang Korinto 1:1, pakilagay.
Si Pablo, na apostol ni Kristo Jesus, sa pamamagitan ng kalooban ng Diyos. At si Timoteo na ating kapatid.
Saan?
Sa Iglesia ng Diyos.
Ayun po eh. Iglesia ng Diyos ang tawag sa iglesia ang nasa Biblia. Iglesia ng Diyos.
The apostles and Paul are Catholic, for if you will not believe, then assuming we are not in the church of Abraham that God has established, as that is why we are called children of Abraham, as by faith, as Jesus said, implying that if there are only few believed in God, God will raise up from the stones a children of Abraham, which means believers of God. The church was built by God to Abraham, as was called house or household of Abraham or church of Abraham, then was continued to Jacob or Israel or household of Jacob or church of Jacob and to Judah or church of Judah or Judaism, then was inherited by Jesus and Jesus renewed as of establishing his church to Peter, called to be household of Peter or church of Peter, meaning all people from Adam who became believers of God are in the church of God that was named into following households. So meaning if the church now was given to Romans, mainly the European, the descendants of Esau, calling it Roman International Church or Roman Catholic Church, so all believers of God in the first kingdom of the Church of God from Adam are Catholic. If you will not believe this, then assuming they are no longer in the Church of God, the Church of Abraham, which now Church of Christ being ministered by RCC, which is the Church of Abraham. Paul and Luke are not apostle, not because the RCC first name is Ecclesia Catholica Apostolica Romana, then the priests are apostles. No, that just means their works are about the works of apostles. So as Paul is not apostle, but his works are apostles' works. Can't you understand? Jesus has many servants or disciples in his time in this earth, but he chose 12, calling them apostles, but still often were called as disciples. Meaning apostles means selected 12 when Jesus was on earth. Eli Soriano in almost all aspects is really knowledgeable about the Church of God. Likely as he and the IONCM are debating if is it Church of God or Church of Christ, as they argue about Acts 20 verse 28. In this writing it is understood that the God and Jesus are one. It says here, Paul declared the Romans to be shepherds of the Church of God which he bought by his own blood. So the Church of God known to be God's, he bought it with his own blood, referring to the word that made to be Christ, by making it in one with man Jesus of Deuteronomy 18 verse 15, Hebrew 10 verse 5, so here it shows that the Father and Jesus are one, and the Church of God and Church of Christ are one. Eli Soriano says, Paul is in the Church of God, not in Church of Christ, as he even said there is no Church of Christ in the Bible. So by this he is implying that it is not the Roman Catholic who wrote the Bible, for he implies Paul and the apostles who wrote the manuscripts are not Catholic, that the Catholic that time not existing yet. First of all, as I've said, all from Adam are already inside the RCC, as it is the name of the existing Church of God now, and when Jesus said, the kingdom of God will be taken away from Israel and be given to the people who will produce fruits, there it started already about the RCC, ultra being International Church in Romans term Catholic Church, it already started in apostles, as when Jesus said go and makes disciples of all the nations. As it is Peter International Church, and Peter and Paul through the command of Jesus given it to the Romans, declaring the Romans as the shepherds of the Church of God, so as therefore the Church of God is in the household of the Romans, so since it is for all the nations, or international souls was called RCC.
Apostles and the first Christians were Catholic. At mas naunang itinatag ni Kristo ang simbahan na siyang nagsulat, ng bagong tipan at nag-compile ng Biblia.
Hindi totoo yan. Naloko ka dyan. Wala pa Katoliko noon, iho. Ang katunayan, wala nga sa Katoliko yung Codex Sinaiticus eh. Isa sa pinakamatatandang salin ng Biblia na isinalin noong 300 AD. Noong ika-4 na siglo, more or less 300 AD, the mid of 300 AD. Asan yun? Nasa yung British Library, yung Greek noon. Pero tatandaan mo, yun ang kinikilala nila, yung sinali ni Jerome. Yun ang nakuha ng Katoliko, yung Latin Vulgate.
The first Christians are the household of Peter, for it is to Peter Jesus built his church, which is Judaism, Christianity or Christianity. and it is the first to wrote the manuscripts, but definitely the one who wrote the Bible of the Roman Catholic Church. For thus to say Bible, it already means holy book made by the Romans, but specifically it is not the Romans or RCC who wrote the scriptures. They only conglomerated and compiled the manuscripts, calling it Bible. Although it could be said the one who wrote the Bible is the RCC, for the apostles, or all believers in the first kingdom of the Church of God, are now Catholic, meaning no other religion at time that will write or will compile the words of God, Jesus. So how could Eli said, RCC didn't exist yet that time, if it is Peter and Paul who ordained the RCC, to be holy nation of God, kingdom of priests, and is the ministry of the Church of God? Eli Soriano was wrong of saying when the Bible was being made there is no yet Catholic. If it's to say Bible, that means the manuscripts of the apostles and Paul plus the Old Testament being compiled by the Romans is the holy books of the RCC. The Church of God and or Church of Christ is one. As the RCC exists after Peter and Paul declared the Romans as the shepherds of the Church of God, the Church of Christ, as according to Jesus' will, that he had taken the Church of God from Israel and given it to the people that will mix fruits, as it is the Romans, and as Jesus said to the apostles, mainly to Peter, what you bind in this earth will also be bound in heaven. Eli Soriano said, the Codex Sinaiticus was not in the RCC, such Maronite did not. Eli Soriano knows, the Grecian already translated the Old Testament between 3 to 2 century BC, as the Codex Sinaiticus containing Old and New Testament, made in Greek also by the year 4th century, the time when the Christianity was only RCC, so who other else will make the Codex Sinaiticus, except the Catholic? The Bible was completed by the Grecian by the year 2nd century, then in time of Constantine 3rd century, they selected the writings that must only appear in a Bible, but it doesn't mean those writings being written in other books were not being preached. By the year 380 CE, St. Jerome, who was also Catholic, translated the Bible into Latin. By the year 4th century CE, the Codex Sinaiticus was made also in Greek, so as it is the Catholic who made it, for there's none other Christians that time except the Catholic, so I have to make another Bible in Greek called the Codex Sinaiticus if there is already original Greek Bible. Possible is to make another Bible for those writings or books that didn't appear in the Bible decided by Constantine together with the bishops. Such stupidity. Eli Soriano criticizing the RCC of not having Codex Sinaiticus, but the fact it is the people inside the RCC who made it. Did not Eli Soriano knows that Codex Sinaiticus containing Apocrypha or Deuterocanonical that the Catholics are believing and is scrutinizing it, so why Eli Soriano criticizing the RCC of not having it, but criticizing the RCC of believing the Apocrypha or Deuterocanonical, so Eli Soriano really always doesn't know what he is talking for. Such stupidity. Eli Soriano was looking for the Codex Sinaiticus of the RCC, but not being used as there is original Bible, but Eli Soriano was not looking for the Deuterocanonical which was removed by the Protestants. The Deuterocanonical that was already appeared in Holy Book being written from 400 BC to 100 CE, and was being patronized by the Romans. St. Jerome even included it in his Latin Bible translation, thought he is not conforming with some of that, as was not canonized by the Jews, as some Christians was being influenced. Not realizing they are Jews who did not accept Jesus, or so they are not Christians, so why rely on the canonizations? As they have indeed different doctrine than the Christianity. But those stupid Protestants or sects defied Jesus as they removed it, and they are happy with it being removed, because they are Satan's, but God's and or Jesus they want to abolish. And now this instrument of Lucifer criticizes the RCC as if falsely accusing of not having the Codex Sinaiticus. Eli Soriano said the one that was being used by the RCC is what was made by Jerome, which is wrong, because what was translated by Jerome in the Latin version is containing the Deuterocanonical, while what was being used by the RCC is without Deuterocanonical, meaning, the Grecian Bible authority was being influenced by Martin Luther, as they allowed that the original Bible be counterfeited. Yes, because if the Grecian Bible authority allowed changes that were made by King James and Martin Luther, what they made is not original.
King Jerome naman ang naatasan ng simbahan na mag-translate ng buong Biblia sa wikang Latin, at ito yung kauna-unahang compiled na Bible sa iisang wika. Si Pope Siricius naman ang tumawag sa buong aklat na yon na na-compile ng simbahan bilang Bible.
Ngayon yung isinali ni Jerome, hindi siya nag-compile nun. No?
The first Bible is Greek, not Latin, so, what is Eli Soriano is saying that what was translated by Saint Jerome, Latin, he is not the one who compiled. Generally, if anyone translated a writing, then he is the one who compiled it, as though he let somebody to help him compile it.